G'day everyone and welcome to the Brett Lee podcast. I'm your host Brett Lee. Thank you as always for listening in. I've got Brad McNamara with me. Buzzard, we are in different parts of the world. I'm currently in Oman playing in a competition, not commentating. Buzzard, you're back in sunny Sydney. Firstly, hello mate, how's your week been?
G'day Binga, I hope you're going well over in Oman. I had a pretty cruisy week, I've got to be honest. Lovely day here in Sydney today, so that makes a change with the awful weather we've had. So, mate, tell me, what's been happening in Oman? How you been playing?
I'm bloody sore, mate. I've played 2 games so far. So it's a 3 teams playing. The World Giants, who I'm playing for. I'll get to the names in a second. We play against the Asian Lions and the Indian Maharajas. So in the World Giants, we've got guys like Kevin Peterson, Herschel Gibbs, Brad Haddon, Ryan Sidebottom, those types of players from all over the world playing against the Asian Lions. Guys like Shoaib Akhtar, Mohammed Yusuf, Muralitharan, and then guys from the Indian Maharajas, Irfan Pathan, Yusuf Pathan, RP Singh, those types of players. So it's a really, really good tournament. And we are in the finals tomorrow night, Buzz. We played last night. We got there in the end with one over. I had to bowl the last over, and luckily we closed it out. But I am so sore this morning, mate.
What sort of pace were you rocking, Binga? Was there a speed gun involved?
Well, I think about 120 odd Ks, but there was a speed gun that said 130 at one stage. But I think I think they're being generous, mate.
The old boy still got it, eh?
Never had it, mate. Never had it. But mate, it's been a a lot of fun over here in Oman. It's a wonderful place to visit, and the cricket's been exciting. But talking about cricket, enough about what I'm doing over here. The Big Bash, only a few hours away. So when this goes to air, probably be tomorrow morning our time, the City Sixers would have played the Perth Scorchers, but just a preview, Buzz, to what's coming up and who's on show. The Sixers tonight. Do you reckon they can do it?
Well, geez, it'll be an enormous win. They're battling to pull 11 players together. With all the injuries and the ridiculous fiasco about not letting Steve Smith play, which is just...
What's going on there? Decisions. What is going on?
Well, they're saying that because he wasn't announced as part of the squad, it kept, it would have been an unfair advantage to put him in now when other franchises... do name their test players and keep other players out. I just think it's ridiculous. So the situation we've had with COVID, we've had a lot of club players playing BBL. It's not quite as strong as it has been in years. Credit to everyone that kept the competition going, but this decision is just brain dead. Yeah,
I agree entirely. I think that hats off firstly to Cricket Australia. They've done a terrific job, as you mentioned. The fact that the boys have been dodging COVID. They've had COVID. They've found a way to play through these different times. Players have contracted COVID. They've isolated them. They've done the appropriate laws and sort of rulings with what happens with COVID. The game's gone on, but you've got such an icon like Stephen Smith, former Australian captain, former and a current Sydney Sixers player. I mean, you want boys and girls to go down to Marvel Stadium to watch the game of cricket. You got a lot of viewers, not only on Fox Sports watching in Australia, but all around the world. And all the stuff I'm hearing on social media is that why can't Stephen Smith play? I reckon Cricket Australia on this calling have definitely stuffed it up.
Yeah, it's a funny game. We say that all the time. We do find ways to shoot ourselves in the foot. Alistair Dobson, the head of the BBL, said he'd like to see Steve Smith play in the final. Well, he's running the damn thing. He should just tell. I think... we need a bit more Peter V'landys, I think, style management in cricket sometimes. He should have said, look, he's playing whether you like it or not. We want the best spectacle. We want the best entertainment. We need the best players playing. Smithy, you're in.
I think...
But mate, it is... Look, they have made the final. It was a great win. Kerr scored an amazing 90-odd to get them in. It has been the 2 best sides in the history of the BBL, though, hasn't it? The 2 most successful franchises up against each other again. As we said, the Sixers under the pump with injury concerns. You'd have to think Scorchers red-hot favourites, but you just never know in a final.
Yeah, you never know, and it takes me back to my last game in BBL as against the Scorchers. I'm really hoping for the Sixers tonight, Sydney time, that they can get the job done. But as we always do, we always love to dip into our WhatsApp history and our library. We've got one here from Sam. Let's have a listen to what Sam's question is.
Hey, Binga and Buzz, love the show, guys. Just a quick question. Just wondering what you thought about the Sixers finding a bit of a loophole against the Strikers the other day. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it, Sam?
Jordan Silk, obviously with that calf injury, with that leg injury that he suffered a number of weeks ago, found a way to get back into the game again, got fit, and unfortunately hurt it going for that run. Let's have a listen, and then we'll get your comments, Buzz, on what your thoughts are. But let's have a listen to the moment that it happened, the controversy with Jordan Silk.
What a finish this is.
They've got an injured Jordan Silk. If it scunges, here we go.
They're going to sub him out.
They're going to retire him hurt. They're going to retire him hurt.
Because he can't run.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know about this. I do not know about this.
Peter Stittle's not agreeing with this.
Well, it's within the rules, but it's probably not in the spirit of the game.
Wow. Big decision by Greg Shippard. Wow, this will be talked about.
So just in a nutshell, Buzzard, they've had the option, which is in the laws of the game, to hook him off, get in another guy that can come in and run for that last ball. Do you think, firstly, that's the right call? It should have been allowed? And is it in the spirit of the game?
Well, that's the question. Is it in the spirit of the game? Probably not. I mean, if they shouldn't have sent him out there if he couldn't run. They were just hoping he could whack a few boundaries. It's in the laws of the game, though. As you mentioned, it's one of those, isn't it? I mean, any batsman can retire to hurt at any stage in any game of cricket. So they were well within their rights to do so. I don't think it made too much difference to the end result. Actually, Kerr had clipped one off his legs and ended up being misfielded and went for 4 anyway. So I think even had Jordan Silk been out there, he would have comfortably got back for 2.
Yeah, look, it's a tough one, because I actually believe that if it was the first time that Jordan Silk had torn that muscle, then fair enough. You know, he did it on that particular day, he did it on that game. I don't have an issue with that. But because it's a reoccurring injury, they knew about it, the chances of it going again, you know, because he's not 24 years of age, Jordan Silk, he's getting older. It doesn't sit real comfortable with me knowing that they've exercised that option. So I don't think it is in the spirit of the game. I think that, it's almost like they've given him the chance to get back out there and play. You have to suck it up now, even though that you got injured. It's not his fault, of course, but I don't think it's the right call.
No, and like I said, it was a strange decision to send him out there in the first place, given, although when they did send him out there, they still had plenty of work to do. So they probably needed someone with a bit of power who could clear the boundary, like Jordan Silk, regardless of his hamstring injury, making it hard for him to run. Anyway, it was a great finish, and they've managed to scrape and skimp and get 11 men together from the player pool that Cricket Australia have put together. There's still some big-name players in that Sixers team, and as we know in T20 cricket, it only takes one guy to play out of his skin to turn a match, to win a match. So, guys like Moses Enriques, Dan Hughes should be okay to play, we're told, recovering from his ankle injury. One of those guys is going to have to do really well. And Sean Abbott's been playing sensationally as well.
All right, well, we wish both teams the best. The Scorchers, good luck, and obviously go the Sixers, my beloved men of magenta. Come on, the Sixers, stuff the Scorchers.
No, those bloody West Australians winning anything.
Also, around the traps as well, the Aussie girls, they're taking on the Poms. The Women's Ashes is currently in play. It's day 2, and the situation at the moment, Buzz, is that England, they trail by 102 runs, still 2 days to play. We've seen Australia post 337. England reply are currently 8 for 235 and a magnificent bowling effort by Catherine Brunt. The first innings against Australia, she took 5 for 60 against the Aussie girls, and in reply, Heather Knight, she's on 127 not for England. So that's shaping up to be a nice little finish there as well.
Yeah, what an innings from Heather Knight, 127 out of 235 for 8. As you mentioned, Australia 100 or so runs ahead, just over 100 runs ahead. 2 days to go in that match. So you think England Yeah, while Heather Knight's in, they'll probably want to battle as long as they can. Try and whittle that deficit down to, even if they can get to 60 or 70, be good. And there might be a run chase set up on day 4 at Manuka Oval, which has always been a good pitch. Doesn't tend to crack up or deteriorate too much. So hopefully we get an exciting finish to that test match down there.
Yeah, and maybe the Aussie girls batting in the second innings can do well. Rachel Haynes got 86 in the first innings, and Meg Lenning, I should say, she fell 7 short. Poor Megsy got 93 and got dismissed. But we'll wait and see how that, and obviously wish the Aussie girls the best. All right, Buzzard. Well, we're going to end this segment really short today because I've got someone that's going to be in my room on the other mic here in person. You talk about bowling fast, none quicker than my next guest. So stick around. I've got someone very special on the other side. Today, I'm very special in person here in Oman, and I'll get to who it is in a second, but I'm playing against this guy tomorrow night. Now, this is the world's fastest bowler. 161.3 kilometres per hour, over 100 miles an hour in the old scale. He's played 46 tests for Pakistan, 178 wickets, 247 wickets in ODIs, and 338 wickets. List A in first class, close to 500 wickets around the world. Shoaib Akhtar, my mate, I wouldn't say teammate, but my opposition in 24 hours. Welcome to the Brett Lee podcast. How are you?
I'm glad to be. Here with you, and I've been listening to your podcast like it's anything. And every now and then I just get to hear Mr. Brett Lee's talking about cricket, and I didn't know that it was actually Brett Lee because you were speaking so well, you were talking so sense.
You're a good man.
And at the same time, I thought it was someone professional who's been out there.
Well, there's batsmen all around breaking out in a cold sweat listening to you two guys together in the same room. Shoaib, you terrorised batsmen around the world along with old Binga here for many years. Give us a bit of give our listeners a sense of where you grew up and how you found cricket.
I think I grown up in a very humble background where my mother, I think I just lost my mother about 4 weeks ago. And,
sorry to hear that, mate.
Very, very painful. Because I had a long journey with my mother for the last 45 years. And whatever I am today, it is because of her. I've just asked her before she died. I said, Mom, how you were when you were a little kid? She said, I was a very, very fast runner. I says, how come? He says, I always used to love running in the rain. I said, what else you used to do? She said, I used to throw stones far to the mountains. We used to live in hilly areas. I said, what else you used to do? She goes, I just, every now and then when I find a little small patches from one mountain to other, it's not a top mountains, but I feel like jumping. And I used to feel like flying when I used to run in the rain and used to jump. I used to feel like I was flying. I said, Mom, well, why was it like that? He says, I used to feel free. I says, oh, no wonder where my run-up comes from. Because of you being running. And remember my trademark gesture, like I fly like an aeroplane. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Wow.
Throwing stones, that's where my pace comes from. Because of my mother, who was a good thrower. And at the same time, how did we start it off? Is that my mother just every night that we go to bed, I used to sleep with my mom, and I was even about 13, 14. Till then, I never left her. She goes to me every night, son, do the right thing. I said, Mom, what is the right thing? I said, son, just whatever you've been told in your religion, you got to be the right man and do the right thing. And make sure you're never going to take the wrong path to earn money or to hurt somebody or to steal from somebody. And at the same time, you should not be a wrong guy on the wrong side. You got to be a right man on the right side. And that's why I parted ways back in 96 when the match fixing was on the peak. And I parted ways from many lobbies, and I got a lot of threats because of match fixing, but I never been part of this. So my humble background started from there because of my mum. And losing her is just like losing half of my heart, probably full. Growing up with my mum, never had that much of money, but what we did, this wise woman she worked really hard to make me study and send me to the English medium school, which is what quite unheard of. And I was very good in education, but I was not an intelligent guy, but I was a good learner. And I always believed that, I'm a learned guy. So this is how I've been started.
Yeah, and look, we had a chat the other night, Buzz, Shoaib and I, because we're over here obviously playing in the same tournament. I mentioned that we are playing against each other in 24 hours' time, and we were speaking about our mothers, and it's so funny and so ironic that I guess, when you think about both of us have had the pleasure to go over 160 Ks on a number of occasions, but both our mums were sprinters. My mum was a sprinter. She obviously did very, very well through the junior days, and never went on to the Olympics or anything, but at a pretty good standard, mum was. But yeah, the fact that both mums, and I guess that's where we get our genes from, but I don't know about you, but me personally, Shoaib, from the age of 9, I wanted to bowl 160 Ks. Was that always what you wanted to do? Was that was the fire in the blood from that young age?
No, I never wanted to be a fast bowler. It was just most of the time.
You've done a pretty good bloody job.
I think in my surrounding, right from the word go, that whenever I was part of growing up, everybody, just because of my attitude, I was always been a nicest guy. I don't know whether people know that about me or not, but it's just my attitude, my exterior part is a bit too stiff that people think that I'm arrogant, or I think I'm just up on myself, or probably have a chip on my shoulder. But I always believed that I'm able to do something because I have energy of like there is nobody. I have energy of like an atom bomb that needs to be explored somewhere. So I always used to tell my childhood friends, listen, I am something. This is why. I said, but you have nothing to prove and you have nothing in you. So the word from my childhood started from, you can't do it. And the minute I start listening to that I can't do it, and that's where my kick in my body start to kick in. So that is my high in my life, that that the environment that I was living in, it was, you can't do it. And I said, no, I will go through the walls. And since I knew that my knees, right from the early age of 93, 94, where I should have made a debut in 95 early, then there was less cameras and a lot of reverse swing. I could have get 300 wickets out of it, but they made me play very late. But the belief, not to prove people, but it's just to go through the wall and water of hell, basically. I think back in 99 World Cup, then I found a stage. I think that is the stage for me that I should, go through the 100 miles. And I did that. And I actually wasn't doing it for people. I'll be very honest with you. I wasn't doing it for people. I was doing it for myself because I was just loving it as flying it. That was the only 1 year that I had that I was pain-free.
Do you know, when you bowl 100 mile, and both of you guys have done it, bowled 100 miles an hour delivery, there's only 3, I think, that have ever done it. Do you know at the time, or is it like a sweetly timed cricket shot where, do you let it go and go, oh, geez, that was quick? Or is it just a matter of rhythm and everything clicking at the one time, and it doesn't feel like a huge effort?
I think I will be very honest with you. I think my 100 miles delivery, I didn't feel like that was 100 miles. I think there is a couple of occasions that I bowled. I think when I released that ball in my fingertips, I felt that was way too quick than 100 miles. But, sometimes, there is a speed guns are a bit funny and they don't clock you as much. But, there is a spell in Colombo that thing I bored my heart out. And I got into fight with many other Australian players during the game. And you must understand one thing. That, I'm up against one of the toughest batsmen on the planet Earth. I mean, Steve is just a wall. He's just a character. He's not going to give it up. I mean, I wish that one day Brett Lee bowl against his own teammate that would understand what we had to go through.
Well, I could tell you that test we were talking about in Colombo, and it was so hot, bloody hot conditions. Yeah. Shoaib was bowling around about the 148k most of the day, and he's steaming in, and his speed dropped off to about 145. And then they asked him to come on for one more big spell, one more big push from the captain was asked from Shoaib Akhtar. He knocked over Gilly with a ball that seemed like it left the hand and blew his stumps away before Gilly could even get the bat down. It seemed like it was about 180 clicks an hour. And then I've come out facing the hat-trick ball, and this ball is swinging around corners, reversing massively. I've got out to face the first ball. Shoaib steams in, he's running in, the black hair's flowing everywhere. Whew, let's go this ball. Hits me on the hip, on the full. I thought I'd been taken out by a sniper. I thought I'd been shot. I get dropped. He runs down like, sorry. And what did I tell you after that?
You're going to get it back. You're going to get it back.
And what happened first ball when I bowled to you?
And he hit me on the head.
Sniffed him up, hit him between the eyes.
And I made myself a promise I was never going to face someone bowls 100 miles an hour. It's just not a great feeling. And the first time I felt it, what does it feel like to face 100 miles an hour? I think it was just stupid. It was not a great idea.
You got an opportunity to get him tomorrow.
Don't say that.
No. Man, look, he's a brother to me. I always... I always admired him. I was never short of the word to praise him. I always believed that he's a far more better looking and he has a better fitness. He was a better athlete. He was blessed with a great body. Thanks to his mom. She's like my mother too. He always blessed with the many other good things that, I wasn't be able to get that. Tomorrow, there's tons of pain in my knee, but, to justify the money that I have taken, I ran in for 4 overs first day and then the second day. I always believe, you just got to be the right man to do the right thing. And try to run in tomorrow, but at the same time, you got to put up a good show for the people that will organize this tournament. You see, there's a lot of people, there's a videos getting viral, me running in and Brett is running in. It'll be fun. It's no competition, but it's just trying to put up a good show and make this show successful. But I'm sure I'll be able to bowl a few deliveries, should be quick enough.
Shoaib, I'm sure you get asked this question a lot. Yep. And Binga and I were discussing this a couple of episodes ago about the conveyor belt of Pakistani fast bowlers over the years. It just seems like there's an endless supply of fast bowlers that just keep coming up with young kids. What is it about Pakistan cricket that produces such good young quicks so consistently?
One, the idols that we have, the food, the environment, the attitude. And at the same time, you have people like me who's full of energy. What it gives us? What it gives us is it gives us a pleasure to bowl quick. Pleasure. We just certainly do it for pleasure. You become what you eat, right? And my nation just eat lots of animals. And I end up being an animal. So when it comes to the fast bowlers, we just run in like lions. That is the difference between me and Pakistan and India. Indians producing a good fast bowlers. But what they're lacking? It's just the rare energy. There is a rare anger on your face. There is a rare attitude that I'm going to just kill you. So I think probably it's environment, food, is an attitude. This is the most of the time that people, just us, it's just a sheer pleasure. It was just a sheer pleasure for me that you just run in. I wish I could have at least 6 months, which I had that back in 99 World Cup. I wish I could have had a good 3 years without a pain. But let me tell you right now, I'll be very honest with you. I have taken about 80 injections in my knee. Aspirated in my knee about 45 times. Operations have been done from 99 to 2006 was 6, back till 2007 till 2009 was 9, and then onwards there's partial knee replacement, and then it's happening happening in a right one. But it's so unfortunate. I could have gone on to play 100 test matches. It's quite unfortunate that I couldn't do it because of my pain that I had to go.
Shoaib, do you think, I just remember going back to, I reckon it was 98, and I was playing for Mossman at the time, and we just knocked over a team. We'd gone up to the Buena Vista at Mossman there and having a few beers and relaxing. And they had the Pakistan test. I'm not sure who you were playing. It may have been England or West Indies or someone. And I just saw this guy running in the bowl, and I thought, who the hell is this guy bowling absolute gas? And then the name, someone said, oh, that's Shoaib Akhtar. I'm like, who's Shoaib Akhtar? And that was obviously the first time, Buzz, that I saw Shoaib burst on the scene. You've achieved greatness. You're a showman. You're great for the game. A lot of kids, and I remember throughout that 2005 period where it was always me versus you. Who would tip that radar up? Who would go the quickest? They were the best times of my life when we're competing against each other. Is there anything that you could have done differently? Would you have trained differently? Is there anything that you've done that you wish you didn't? Any hindsight's a wonderful thing, but would you have changed anything that you've done in your career?
I wish I could have changed one thing, that I should not be in the hospital before the game, every game that I played. The match that we played against you in Australia, against you in Joburg, I was in hospital taking my blood out of my knee. So,
and that's one thing that a lot of the viewers and the people listening in wouldn't understand. They just think that you're running in a bowl and it's all well and good, and they see the end result, but they don't see all the hard work and dedication that goes into doing that, Buzz. And it's like I play with pain throughout my whole career, and even last night bowling, I'm still in pain. But that's the reason why no one else can bowl 160 k's an hour, because you have to be somewhat crazy.
Yeah, agreed. But the thing is, the pain is so immense that I just couldn't cope up. I mean, I remember that training for 2003 World Cup, I was doing about 1,000 repetition on my quadricep, 1,000 repetition on my one leg, about 85 kilo, and the same did with my hammies. Same I did with the both the legs and the calf, and I was doing the crunches, about 3,000 crunches a day. But my knees said no. My knees always asked me I'm gonna bring you down to your knees. So they did. Actually, my knees were bad. They was narrow, and there was bone on bone. I lost my cartilage back in 98. In 96, lost all the cartilage, and then it became bone and bone. So all I had to do is take a Depomedrol every game that I played. And I remember from 97 till 2005, until I got my third operation, they used to inject me with the 5 injection and used to numb my knee. Numbing your knee, what does to you is that you don't feel your toes. And when you're running on the pitch, you don't feel the ground. And you're running on the Gabba, and it's up on the hill, and it's a sandy ground. Its grass is on the sand, and I never felt a thing. I'm running on just somewhere on the space. So when I land, I could not feel the popping crease, and at the same time, I could not feel, where I'm hitting my toe, my angles of my, my bowling. I was most of the time I was confused. I was just bowling like blindly. So I think it was tough. Okay, enough with the match, sad story. But, that was the pain that I had to go through, and wish, people said that, why didn't you play that much? I says, look, the funny story that I'm going to tell you, I could not walk till age of 6 because my flat feet.
Really?
Yeah, no, I couldn't.
What, you couldn't walk? What do you mean you couldn't walk?
I couldn't walk. My feet were flat. My joint, my knee actually rotates backward and comes back in there.
So it actually hyperextends backwards?
It's hyperextension. It goes back and then it flex.
So how are you getting around at the age of 6 not walking? Were you crawling?
And then people said that your son can't walk. And before that, and I had my brother, his name was Shoaib, he passed away. And when they asked my mother, says, don't keep that name, he might not survive. 2, It's a bad omen. He says, no, it's a prophet's name. We're going to keep his name. So they kept my name, and when I born, I could not walk. I crawl, and age of till 10, I used to crumble. I was so sloppy. I was so clumsy that, every now and then I walk, I used to fall in the ditch somewhere. And I used to get if you see my legs, it's all like bruised. See that? It's all bruised.
Wow.
Because of walking.
Jeez.
So I just
you mentioned the name Shoaib, and now I've done a bit of research, and correct me if I'm wrong. In Arabic, Shoaib means the one who brings people together.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's why I kept my family together. I keep everyone together, and I make sure that I'm the guy who benefits people. I make sure that the people are beneficiary out of me. I never had that thought. We were thinking last night. I said bring other people along together, just give them at the same time. But I always believe it's just let this movie ends, and then you will come to know who the real hero was. Don't tell me how you lived your life. Tell me, how did you die?
It's very interesting and hardly surprising. I mean, if it was easy, everyone would do it. I mean, I'd love to bowl 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And that's why only 3 guys have ever done it, and even then, not as consistently as you 2 guys. So, it does take its toll on its body. Was there anyone in international cricket when you had the ball in the hand that used to get your goat up, that you used to fire up for? What batsman did you fire up? Was there anyone who gave you the shits, or that you really thought, right, I'm going to give it to this guy?
I think the most toughest batsman that you could ever face or could ask for is, I think, Australians. They're one of the nicest people off the field, but they're toughest, horrible people on the field. What they do is they're going to get the worst out of you, or rather best out of you. The most of the time they get the best out of you. And this is what Australian cricket does to you. I think the Langer, oh God, is a tough cookie. I could have hit him, punch him, do whatever he can, but he was the nicest guy off the field. It was tough. And I remember me and Matthew Hayden about to get into a fight. I was holding a knife in my hand to just tear him apart with the knife in 2003 World Cup. And unfortunately, or lucky for me that, I found him alone on the breakfast table in 2003. He was a very rude man and a very big man. And we sat on the breakfast table, and unfortunately, we were just 2 of us. And I thought just to hit him, kill him, or whatever. But the minute he stood up, he was at least twice the size of me. I said, it's a bad idea, leave him. So once we started working together in India, and he just apologized to me. I said, the guy I was dreading for is one of the nicest guy. I never thought of you. I said, Matthew, you never just gotten to know me. He said, I thought you're a C-grade actor. So I said, okay, thanks. So I thought...
C-grade actor.
So I said, what did you think of me? I said, you're the most ugliest batsman ever. You're out of proportion body that you had. So one of the nicest guy that I came across. I think you go through one guy, Langer, you go through Justin, you go through Steve, Mark, and then the best player of the fast bowler, Ricky Ponting. Jeez, man. I knew that I just have at least a 6 ball. Reverse it. Do whatever I can. Reverse it. Minute he settles in, he's just going to hit you, kill you. And then there is a most horrible batsman that I had to face. Horrible. Gilchrist. I mean, you beat him on a 1 delivery, and then the same delivery that hit him for a 6. I said, what do you want me to do? Which one is a good delivery for you? I mean, nothing is good enough for you, right? He says, I don't think. I say, you don't abuse back too. You don't fight with me. He says, no. Are you mad if I'm going to fight back with you? I'm just going to wake you up. So I think this is toughest. I think that another guy that I believe that it could have been something as Damien Martin.
Yeah, good point.
I think it was one of the best players that I could have. I think missed out on Australian cricket, and at the same time, I felt the Warney being an Australian captain would have been something else.
Yeah, you reckon he would be a good captain?
Warney is something else, man. He's great. His energy is great. He's positive. He makes you start. And, whatever happened to his other life, we don't want to talk about it. But, he is one of the guys that I think he's very, very positive and has great knowledge of cricket that he had.
All right, I want to set the record straight here, Buzz, because there's been a lot of social media over the last probably 10, 15 years about Shoaib and I want to make it very clear here.
Sorry,
a lot of
Brian,
people...
I'm going to cut you off. The people, back in 2001 till 2005, they always believed, we are in the competition with Brett Lee and everything. And then back in 2003, then I remember seeing him training Brett, and me and Wasim Akram and many other players, and two other foreigner players were sitting there. I said, listen, this guy is a better fast bowler than me. He said, what makes him a better? I said, look at his fitness. Minute he runs in, he's so committed because he has less pain, because he's flying, he's focused. At the same time, he has a support system. And I'm going to say a very, very tough thing here that you're not going to like it, and many people are going to like it. I was always up against about 22 people. 11 is mine and 11 is yours. So he had a support system that, who actually helped him to become a Brett. And I always up against him, and a dear friend of mine, Kamil, he will make sure he'll gonna chip in and he'll tell you, I people envious me like as anything, and I faced most difficult times from my senior players. And
so what you're saying that you probably didn't have the backing or the support, not only from back home, but sometimes from your own teammates?
Nope. Really? Most of the time that I was struggled. I've been singled out because of my media hype, and I remember landing in Australia, and
Do you think that's jealousy?
Of course, I felt that many times till the day now. And I'm being the nicest guy. I never disrespected my elders. I never disrespected my juniors. I was never an intrigue in the team. I was never made sure that I destroy careers of people. I minded my own businesses. I always mind my own businesses. I was in the real estate back in 96. I got myself into real estate, and I knew that my career is going to cut short because of the lot of jealousies within the team. And when I got banned for chucking, and the many a teammate was celebrated, he said, thank God for that. He's out of the team. And I was... he knows two of them very closely.
Well, you mentioned, and I also had and Buzz knows, and for those that don't know, I had my action question as well after my second test. Though, I'd been called a chucker throughout my whole career, certainly when I'd play against England. But your elbow, just to set the record straight, your elbow, like your front knee, you've got hypermobility in your joints, your arm, and you can't probably see it here. I might get a shot for social media and put it up, maybe tag it in. But your arm completely bends the wrong way. It bends backwards. Your elbow bends the way it shouldn't.
And the funny thing is, my shoulder joint comes out of the socket every time I bowl, and it goes back in.
Really? Yeah, so it almost dislocates.
It dislocates it and comes back in. It is only the tendons and the stabilizer actually hold my shoulder joint. Otherwise, it pops out, it comes back in again. So,
do you think that allowed you to bowl 160 Ks?
Yeah.
There's going to be all these kids now trying to rip their shoulder out of the joint, Buzz. And poor kids in India and Pakistan and Australia, they'll be thinking, right, I've got to bowl 160 clicks.
And then, at the same time, back in 97 when I was peaking, then there is a lot of problem of match fixing. And I was so disturbed. Because, I'm the guy who just never indulge myself into the wrongdoings. I may be the, as a human, I've made a lot of mistakes, but not the mistakes that will cost the country. I did not favor anything to my country, but at the same time, it disturbed me. The many teammates that I'm playing against or playing with, I found them in a match fixing and everything. It's the most controversial thing that I'm telling you right now for the first time, and that's what I said. But at the same time, what I felt, even the contemporaries and my friends, they could not digest my fame because I became so famous. I moved up too fast, and I felt that they just could not take it. And I was telling them, I says, it's a God given. It's just not me. I mean, today the organizers goes to me, says, Shoaib, would you just run for a big long run up so we can get the crowd to cheer, or just to alive them? So I said, okay, I'll run. So I bowled 4 overs just to put up a good show, and the people loved it, and the clips are going viral, and me running, and thank God Brett Lee's coming in now. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun for the people. 2 fastest bowlers playing together, and a serious cricket. And the way Brett Lee bowled last night, it shows the commitment of the guy, that he's serious. Just not only taking money, he's just like me. He loves his mom. He does he does the thing right. He does the right things. At the same time, he helps people out. He loves his family. He loves his kids. He's just more like me. A minute we talk about the businesses, he picks up the calculator like me. We're just like a kids. So I back then, I had a lot of problem that, I used to feel like why people, gave me the run for the money. What I've done wrong with the people, all my seniors, all my teammates. I said, listen, this is a God-given. If I'm doing the adverts, if I'm busy shooting, I'm making properties, or I'm successful, or I'm the media, I've never said anything to the media. I said, listen, come and close to me and just take my pictures. Back in Australia, I remember that I was in printed 30 days up straight on the first page of newspaper in Australia. And the people used to actually put that picture under the foot and used to rub it in front of me. Can you believe that? That's what I had to go through.
Tell us about your time at Mossman.
Oh,
so you come over and played
great.
the club cricket when Mossman was Sydney. Now, I asked Binga before this. I said, did you guys actually play in the same team together? That would have been terrifying.
Well, that was going to be my big set the record straight, but I'll let Shoaib answer that.
You see, one thing that I had for Australia, I think, is a sheer love. My career ended there, and the people of Australia got me back in Gabba. And when there's also a history. Nothing normal happens in my life. Nothing normal. I was in the plane. The manager goes to me and says, you got to get out there from Perth to Brisbane. God, who thinks that, this guy's going to fly out for 6 hours. And at the same time, daylight saving, the time differences, I'm going to be tired. And there's your toss. And toss happened. Luckily, we won and we were elected to bat. And when I landed in there, the support that I've got for Australia, I think there's a sheer love that I got from Australia. It just has a very special place in my heart. I think Australia is amazing. Amazing. And the minute I got a chance to play for Mossman, a little that you knew that I left the money there for the Mossman Club. So no one knew that. So, I wanted to.
They're not struggling, Shoaib. Go get it back. They got plenty.
No. And it would be great. It would have been great. Me and Brett Lee running in and bowling, some gas. But unfortunately, it didn't happen because Brett was busy.
Never happened. And people always say that we bowled from each end, and we bowled 160 Ks, and that was probably that scoop that I was trying to get, or like allude to, but it never happened, unfortunately,
I'm requesting Mossman, please, I am coming to Melbourne. I'm going to get myself fit. I'm getting my knee replaced, and I'll be fit for September. And Brett Lee and me are thoroughly, spatially available for you guys. Please have us in the club, and we'll play for you for free.
Well, what about this? So my son Presto plays for Manly. Manly Cricket Club's a wonderful club. He's over there. They've asked me to play a few games. Go and get your knee fixed, and maybe we can have a game for Manly. What do you reckon?
For a Preston, I don't need to get my knee fixed. I'm going to play for your son. That's it. Simple.
There we go. Lock us in, Buzz.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't playing. I'm not sure whether I was playing for New South Wales or out injured, but you played at a place called Hurstville Oval against a club called St George, which is my club.
Yeah.
They still talk about that day. How quick you bowled that day. There's still some skid marks on underpants that have not been removed from that day.
I think I had a great time, and I think I loved Mossman. I think the North Sydney is the most beautiful area. It's hilly, it's nice, it's green. People are amazing. The accommodation is great, and Sydney is one of my favorite places. All over Australia. I just love Australia, and there is a long perception that the people have about Australia. They're racist. I says, this is the most friendliest country that you'll ever come across. This is the most amazing people will come. ever come across. But you gotta do when you go out there and play Indian, Pakistan, whoever you are, mate, you're gonna go through hell on the field with them. They are just not gonna let you win. Simple, period. I mean, if you take that attitude from TV and translated that into real life, this is the wrong way to do that. And this is actually the thing that happened to me. People thought that I'm the most arrogant, aggressive guy. But off the field, I'm like Australian, very easygoing.
So, Shoaib, away from sport now, you're in stage 2 of your life. What's in store for Shoaib Akhtar now? You're 46 years of age. What gets you out of bed in the morning? What excites you? I know you do a lot of charity work that people don't know about back in Pakistan and I guess around the world. What are you up to at the moment?
Mate, I've got me and my mother. She's a wise woman, very, very wise woman. So she knew that, that I had a question mark in my career. He says, son, get into real estate. And actually, she started buying property along with my brother and me. And my whole family is very close together. So we started going into the real estate. And we're very lucky, very fortunate to made a fortune out of the real estate. And I'm doing the same thing for last 22 years, and I'm very I'm very, very real estate savvy now.
Got any good properties for me in Rawalpindi?
You got my whole house to you, and yes, for your family, you know that. I live in Islamabad, and my mother asked me, says, "Please, son, do not get into politics. Please don't." And we all loved Imran, and this is not the path that I'm choosing it for you. Make sure that you make a knee hospital. For me, even if I'm gone, please make a knee hospital for him. Ask David Young. She loved the guy. He says he's a brilliant guy, David Young.
Wonderful Australian surgeon.
Wonderful Australian surgeon. One of the best guy that I ever met. And he loved my mother. He wanted to do an operation, but he couldn't because the platelets were way down. Couldn't do it. The last country that my mother toured was Australia. So that's why Australia is very close to my heart. But I'm in the real estate and full on. And one thing that I could have done, and I taken a permission from my mother before she left this world, I said, Mom, let me fix Pakistan cricket. Please, let me fix this cricket. Let me get the money for my first class player where I can make about at least, $500,000 a year. I'm talking about the first class cricketer. I said, Mom, let me fix this game. Let me fix those youngsters. I can stir the whole nation. Please let me do this. And I am a good with the numbers. People, they might think that I'm not a number games or I don't have the business sense, but, trust me on this one. I can move this cricket up to the level where Pakistan dependency on neighboring countries should be finished. And that's what I'm thinking of. Good for India. I'm happy for India. But I don't like the policy of the ICC. I certainly hate that. 2 bounces. Come on. This is just about you killing the game. Where is another Brett Lee? Where is another Shoaib Akhtar? Why they haven't come? It's been 20 years, since someone bowled a fastest delivery and no one is able to do it. Why? Because the law, there is a surge of T20 cricket. There is no saving grace for Test cricket. Please. I encourage put $100,000 for a test match, per test match for every single individual that is playing. Get this game back into the action. Just get a bit of flair, bit of a push, bit of a sledge, bit of a, just bring that taste back. Just bring the flavor back. So that's what I want to do it, to change the rules of the game. Bring the money as much as the footballers are making. Why is someone, the greats of the game, driving a taxi in London? I've seen one Pakistan captain who's driving a taxi, and I started crying. I'm the guy who cries. He had to kill me to cry. And I just hugged him. I said, sir, you shouldn't be doing this. He said, but son, we never had the money. I said, sir, we don't have the money. I wanted to get Pakistan Cricket Board to have a 500 billion. Pakistan Cricket Board needs to get into the real estate. Pakistan Cricket Board needs to get into broadcasting and the digital. It needs to get in grocery store, get into merchandising. Pakistan should be in the stock, bringing the cars, electric cars. Pakistan should sell everything. Pakistan PCB should have their own private bank. And PCB has a 6 team. I will bring another 4 teams. I will get the money in advance, sell the team for 1 billion each, and I get the money upfront for 10 years, and I make a bank with interest free. You must understand that, you gotta bring the entities. You have to have a revenue stream to enhance the economics of the PCB. How long for that you're gonna survive on the Indian dependency? I'm nothing against India. India loves me. I love them back. But look, one day you have to realize that this world runs by economics, not by emotions. India has done that, good for them. But India is the only country who can save the Test cricket because they have the resources, they have the command in ICC. Please, I request Indians, save this game. Otherwise, if you ask me, the game's going to be finished in 5 years' time. There's going to be 10 leagues and 2 World Cups like a World Cup, like a footballs. Why would you do that? Why would you want to kill this game? Please, I'm talking a bit bluntly and a bit firmly here, but I'm telling the future. So I think the PCB...
So, Shoaib, just on that, and along, how important is it that Australia tours? Australia's coming over to Pakistan very soon. How important is that for Pakistan cricket?
It's not only cricket-wise, for the diplomatic ties with Australian. That has to be reconnected once again. Actually, it's the government to government is reconnecting through cricket. Through cricket diplomacy, we build a relationship in India. And we're doing the same with you. And hats off to you, regardless of the situation of Omicron or what happened in against New Zealand. We're still very sorry that what happened. But we're gonna give our blood to save you guys. But we want this tour to happen. And people love to see Australia. You don't have any idea that Pakistan has so much love for Australian cricketers because they're tough cookies, they're tall, they're good looking, and they play some hard cricket. And they're going to give you a run for the money. But we're going to make some very slow pitches for you. You're going to bend your back end to win us.
Well, Shoaib, mate, you're an absolute superstar of world cricket. We really hope that people, as I know, that know you, that you're a terrific guy. And I think now, a lot of people that will listen to this podcast will get a clear understanding as to who you are as a person. Thank you so much, mate, for all your entertainment over the last 25 years. I've thoroughly enjoyed playing against you, calling you a very, very close mate. I've enjoyed the battles that we've had on the field. Even though that our cricket's starting to wind down now, mate, the friendships will last forever. But thank you so much for what you have done. And looking forward to tomorrow night. And I promise you, if I have to bowl to you, I'm going to give you a half volley first up. And I expect to save in return.
I tell you, let me tell you one thing. On the record, I think it was a far better fast bowler than I am, was Brett Lee. And Brett Lee was the most exciting fast bowler because every time, and the only time I've watched cricket, I'll be very honest with you, I don't watch cricket. I mean, last night I only watched cricket because of Brett. And I knew that I feel like punching him, killing him because he was getting us to the finals. I never wanted to play the finals because my knees are hurting me. So Brett was a better fast bowler, great looking guy, a great family guy. Let me tell you, he's one of the greatest family guy that you could ever come across. And I wish you best of luck that you have the best man arena. And Preston, I'm coming to see you, brother, very soon, and thank you very much, Brett, for having me.
You're a good man, Shoaib Akhtar. There we have it, Shoaib Akhtar, the Rawalpindi Express, 161.3 kilometres per hour. He holds the world record, and I don't reckon anyone will ever go past it. G'day, everyone. Welcome back, and thank you so much for listening to the Brett Lee podcast. Shoaib Akhtar, 161.3 k's per hour. What a superstar. He bowls absolute gas, or used to bowl some seriously good pace. But one thing that I've found over the last 25 years, and I guess now people will understand, he's a gentle soul.
Yeah, it was interesting. I've never spoken to him much. I've met him a couple of times through you. But hopefully that gives people an insight into, what sort of character he is, but also the toll that it's taking. That was interesting, the physical toll that running in and bowling 160 k's an hour takes. And as I said, if it was easy, everyone would do it. And that's why so few people been able to do it, and especially for a lengthy period of time like you did.
Yeah, he's a terrific guy, and as I said, I'm looking forward to playing against him tomorrow night, and hopefully he doesn't have to bowl against me. Well,
and let's hope. It was interesting also to hear, and what it'll mean for Australia to come over and play Test cricket in Pakistan again. So let's hope that all comes off as well.
Yeah, it's a really valid point. That I mean, it's such a big tour, not only for the Australian cricket team. I think for world cricket, a lot of Pakistani fans haven't had the opportunity since '97 to watch their superstars from Australian cricket play. So that's a very, very important tour on the sort of scheme of world cricket, I guess. But all right, Buzz, let's wrap it up, mate. Once again, thank you everyone for listening in. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Brett Lee podcast. If you like what you're hearing, of course, make sure that you leave a review or wherever you listen to your podcast and get involved. Send an email to the Brett Lee podcast at news.com or, of course, in the WhatsApp group. Buzzard, a great episode once again. Enjoy Sydney, mate. I'm here for a few more days and then back into wonderful Australia. We'll catch up in person. But as we always say,
keep your chins up and play well tomorrow.
Keep your chins up. See you soon.